single word. I mean,
I mean,
every single word. I could do the whole thing.
also, with all of the word choices, we can find some that rhyme. The fact that you tried to push, you blew through that too fast. We're like, wait, sir, wait, Mr. Smith, that don't rhyme.
I'm telling you, for those, good morning to everyone. For those of you who don't know, for whatever reason, Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff, they're from Philly. And so they're, I don't know, Will is like a couple years younger, right? Will Smith's in his 50s. He's a couple years younger. And than I am. And so where I went to college, they would perform around in the Overbrook area and West Philly and all these places, right? While I was an undergrad. And I mean, just, they were awesome and nobody's. And then all of a sudden, like, this hits. And I mean, that was like 1988, something like that. I mean,
yeah, just checked. Will is 57 years old.
Yeah, so we're the same. I maybe Jeff's the one who's a couple years younger, but they I mean, just that, like, they just were it, and they were cool, and all that song.
I remember they did
amazing.
Did not.
They didn't what? What did you say?
Parents did not understand.
Oh no! And that song,
I felt so seen.
Quincy Jones heard that and was like, I'm calling him and I'm basing an entire show around this dude. And that's how it all started.
And when you saw him, it was like, oh yeah, this guy was not meant to be, not on screen.
They're funny. There was I don't know who's doing these things online now. There's these like AI like clips from, like, I got this thing, all AI generated, Diana Ross through the years, all the people she burned through. Did you see that one? All the people she burned through for her career.
Shocked. I was shocked.
I don't know who's making these things, but they have one of all celebrities who had affairs with their co-stars, and they go through like different television shows, and they get to Will Smith and the Fresh Prince, and they put Dwayne on.
Listen,
I'm so mad. And I was like, oh my gosh.
So mad at this AI slop. It's ridiculous. The stuff that comes out.
Crazy.
I mean,
I don't think it's all true either.
It isn't at all.
They tried to tell me that Diana Ross took over Florence Ballard's funeral. I'm like, come on. Took over? Well, how'd she take over? She jump in the coffin? What do you mean she took over?
You took over what? Nobody claiming that. I guess, but the stuff that comes out, it's like, it is. Have you seen like those videos that say, oh, I used to love when my mom made this, and it's like 35 Twix, put them in a blender.
No, your mother, first of all, if your mother did that to you, that's pretty bad.
Shame.
Like, it's a lot of sugar. It's different if you're in the South and it's like sticks and sticks of butter. That's different.
But they're all totally like, or just have a burger. You'll see them. It'll be like getting the beef, like making it into ground beef, adding potatoes, whatever, all these different things. And it was like, nobody did that. Nobody.
No. And the thing, or the videos that are like, oh, can't believe what happens at the end. And you watch the whole thing and you're like, nothing happened. They made me watch this so they get that.
When you can't click in it to make it go to more.
Yes. Makes me so angry. I know, because you're like, I'm feeding the algorithm. Now I'm going to be stuck with videos that show nothing. Yes. Yes.
But why I oughta.
I heard from our buddy David Noe this week, so I've got my David Noe mug already. I'm like, I have something's wrong with my lip.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening, but it doesn't like form a seal to the cup anymore. So there's always like a little drip that's when I'm done. Do you know what I'm talking about?
You need to see a doctor.
I don't know what's happening here. I mean, these slabs of bologna, like, they can pucker right up against this mug, but I don't
kill me. Did you just say
I drink and then like a little drip comes and I'm like, well, where is the drip coming from? I don't understand.
That is the most annoying thing ever. It is like, what is happening? This is like our life.
Yeah. And then you sit and you're like trying to feel. I mean, our producer Jamie's telling me I need Botox, I need filler. Don't think I haven't thought that. And I'm like, why would I get filler on these things? They're monstrous already.
That's the best.
I'm just telling you.
Baloney. Well,
and Olivia has these same lips.
She does?
Olivia's got my lips. Yeah. And I used to tell her when she was little, she would put her hands over her mouth. And I'm like, honey, listen to daddy. People pay money to have lips like that.
No, you did.
Oh, 100%. You know, and Kathy is like, I'm like, yes, it's called Botox and filler, collagen that they put in their lips, honey. People pay for that. So don't you cover them. Let everybody see them. Yes.
And, you know, it's my sweet baby TJ has those full lips.
Oh, love that child. You know. Listen, we are proud parents, and this is perfect for us to talk about this today. We are very proud parents. For those of you who are unaware, Jackye has 2 that she knows of, and I have 3.
I know him. There was that time in college.
You're going to be like Erica Kane, forgetting that you had a kid, and all of a sudden she comes back.
Look just like me, standing at the door with a bag.
And a whole lot of attitude, and you'll be like, yep, I see the resemblance.
I thought I had the flu. I had a baby.
I
miss those shows.
One Life to Live. Vicky had twins. She only remembered having one. You remember all that? And then that other child showed up. Yes. That could happen.
The dumbest.
Because she had multiple personalities. Where are my One Life to Live people? Come on. She had multiple personalities, and she flipped personalities in the middle of labor because of the stress, and didn't recall that she had the second daughter.
So you've been
because she was the other personality. Come on, Vicky and Nikki. Come on.
Now I have to go back and find that whole story.
Somebody's going to jump right in and be like, yes, I watched that whole thread. That whole storyline.
That is hilarious. But I do love, I mean,
we know who our children are. All jokes aside, we fully know who our children are.
Well, we do know who our children are, but I think it's really interesting talking about what the parents do. I will tell you, was there anything that you told your kids were like non-negotiable?
About their careers?
Their careers or what they chose or going to college or.
I don't recall saying anything like you have to go to college. I'm sure I didn't, because I haven't always believed that that's the right path for everybody to take. So I'm sure I didn't do any of that. I would say the non-negotiable is you have to be a productive member of society.
Right.
Because, I mean, I'm sure we both can share stories. Every family has somebody that they can point to talk about being a freeloader or lazy or things like that. And I'm like, my kids are not going to be that. That I think I probably drove home, but I never really felt like I had to do it hardcore because they were all pretty motivated, like self-motivated to get things done. Cash is a motivator.
Yeah.
I would say for 2 of my 3 kids.
I don't know.
Maybe all 3.
I don't think that cash is a motivator for my kids.
Why? What is wrong with them? They can't live off you forever. You better tell that sweet boy.
No, I have one.
Because Clay is killing it. Clay's an international superstar.
Cheap, but they're also cheap as hell. They will get things for their mother, but for themselves, no. Like, I was like, what are you doing? They came to the wedding with me last week. They took a city bus, 2 trains, took another. They have those things that go straight from Boston,
But Clay was an awesome trooper to partner with you in that. For real.
That was a lot. That was a lot. And sweet baby TJ wants to be a teacher, but I told them when they went to school. No money in that.
Yes.
I told Clay. So Clay really was good at math and loved math. So I encouraged them to be a math major. And they were like, what am I going to do with a math major? And I said, you're going to solve problems because the world's full of problems. And math helps you reason.
Clay could have been an engineer.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Really?
they still might. They actually kind of are in their own right. Like yesterday, they were in the studio, or a couple weeks last week, they were in the studio and they found this set of equipment and said it was dusty. And they said, oh, well, you can take it home and play with it. They have a whole full production studio in their living room now.
And that, I mean,
that's
to
someone
me,
that's gifted.
That's where, by the way, grab your phone. We should probably show the cherubs so people know who you're talking about. Put those one picture with both kids. Don't start going through 58 pictures because I know how you do it. Put them in one picture together.
Okay, I'm doing my best.
I don't know. I had all three. I don't know where they all are.
See, now you can't find them.
I don't know what. Oh, I do. I have this one. Wait a minute. Let me get this one. This is a cutie. Okay, this is a cutie one. Let's see if I can make it work. Okay, so these are my three. This was at a wedding on July 18th. You can see by the timestamp. So my oldest is my son, Frank. And then on the opposite side is Olivia. And then the middle person is my youngest, Cassie. So those are the three that I'll be referring to. How about you, Jackye?
I have, look.
Oh.
My dad was sweet baby TJ and Clay right there.
Let me tell you, those children are beautiful. I'm telling you right now.
They are beautiful.
So why are we talking about the parental push? Well, I will tell you, part of this inspiration this week in particular, you better tell Todd, go find a hobby. Go find a hobby.
I'm going to go tell him.
I'm telling you right now, I love that man, but something happened to that elevator. Anyway.
So the problem is we have all of these things going on this morning. And
how many dogs are there?
I think like 8 dogs.
Oh golly.
But most little bitties.
So put them in very little cages and stack them on top of each other.
No. Listen, this reminds me, and this is a whole separate thing. People call us, and parents are delusional. Some parents are more delusional about their own. I get a text at 4:00 in the morning. There's a family. They want to come in December. It's really busiest time of year. Like, don't talk.
And they text you at 4 in the morning.
4 in the morning to say, because I said, why don't we meet closer to December? Reasonable, right? They're scheduled for December 24th through the 29th. So I say, maybe we meet a little bit closer because we have 9 dogs and we don't like people coming and whatever.
Of course.
And they said, well, the last time we had a bad situation, our dogs were anxious. And I said, what, they call you? They told you they were anxious? I was like, what do you mean that they were anxious? Well, they called us to pick them up because one started howling and the other one I was like, oh, so you're not worried about us. You're worried about your dogs. You're not worried about the problem was at your dogs. And I think it's the same with our children, right? Like, are you treating my child well? Well, why would you ask? Well, they came to be all upset. Well, why were they upset? Well, they said that they got written up for being late. Oh, okay. So now let's talk about what's really happening here. You don't want them to move back in with you. You want me to be stuck with you.
That's right. And okay. You lean heavier into the recruiting side of the world. Right. And I'm sure you have stories of parents there. On the HR side of the world, for me as well, I absolutely have had parents call about their children. Now, I want to make sure that I'm equitable in the way in which I talk about this. In my career, I have and still do companies I work for and companies that we support now through Humoriso, where high school kids get hired for things. We support hospitality. So some restaurants, some retail have high school workers, summer hiring for some nonprofits. They sometimes will do high school kids for to run some of the camps or youth programs. Great. So getting a call from a parent in that context, I can appreciate because something's going on and their legal guardian has to call in and say, listen, my 16-year-old had this happen to them and da, 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 da. Yes. I get that. I get that. When you're 24 and mom is calling to talk to HR about their 24-year-old child, I'm not going to talk to you. They're an adult. I can't talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you. And I had, if anybody from Humoriso is listening, you've heard me tell this story, but the truth of the matter is most of the people at Humoriso try to keep me from answering the phone. I'm the last person for whom the phone rings. It has to go through 412 people before it gets to me. So if it gets to me, game on.
And he starts saying things like, come on, buddy. That's always, when you hear that from John, run. He doesn't mean it. You're not.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Hi, I'm so-and-so calling about my daughter. And again, as I just shared, we have kids who are working. And so you're like, yeah.
I can hear it from you now. Let me tell you something.
And my daughter asked off for work on Saturday and was scheduled. And I need her to be off because we have a family party to attend. And I was like, oh, okay, hold on. What company? This is at Humor. What company is she working for? Oh, so-and-so. Okay. And she tells me the name of the company, and I'm thinking, we don't hire any, high school students that work there at that company. And I said, is your daughter over 18? Oh, yes. Ma'am, I can't talk to you about your daughter's employment and what's happening there. You most certainly can. I most certainly cannot. I won't be talking to you. So I said, I can certainly get a message to a manager. If your daughter has expressed something to you, that manager and that employee can have a conversation. I'm happy to do that, but I can't discuss her employment with you. And she said to me,
oh, Lord.
Sir, I'm an attorney. You certainly can. And I said, you're an attorney? Good for you. That means someone believed in you enough to let you be an adult. I would encourage you to do the same for your child. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And of course people are like, hang up the phone, hang up. Because I'm ready to go. I am ready to go. Don't come. You're a lawyer. What do I care? That doesn't change the age of your child.
I got a similar. It was a situation where somebody called and they said, I'm an attorney, I'll sue. And I was like, there's an attorney. What should I say? And he said, tell them good luck with their lawsuit. I was like, good luck with their lawsuit. He was like, hang up the phone. Then I guess our conversation's over and I'll see you in court. I use it all the time. Not use it all the time, but anytime I threaten with that. Don't threaten me with a good time. I was just saying, then I guess I will see you in court. Then this conversation is done. But I mean, also,
why threaten with that, by the way? It's such a silly thing. I could sue you because I don't like your glasses. Doesn't mean it's going to hold up in court. What do I care?
Sure not. But also, I will tell you.
Sir. When she, sir. Oh yeah. Don't sir me. That's the sure way to have me not on your side.
If you don't ma'am me, we're gonna have problems. I'm in Texas.
And it's sir with all that attitude, and ma'am with all that ma'am. And you're like, oh.
I will tell you, and you'll appreciate this. See, baby TJ and his girlfriend were coming. They were both in Austin, and they were coming back for a holiday. No, they are still together. I just yesterday, and they were coming, and they were going to take the train back. And I was like, absolutely not. Me and your father will be there and tell your girlfriend that we will bring her too. And she goes, so her mom called me, and she goes, Jackie, what are you doing? I am trying to make them independent. And I said, well, why? I'm trying to make him dependent on me for the rest of his life.
You back off, lady. Mind your business.
Quick, try to steal my phone.
I will, but in all seriousness now, part of this was inspired what we're talking about this week. And I think it is really healthy for us to talk about this. It's tough. Is the death of Hayden Panettiere this week.
And the mom factor.
Oh, I know.
And you saw her response?
Yeah, I did. Fill us in. You should.
She said, I think it's not exact. The quote was something like, I wish she would have made better choices.
Yeah. just think it. Don't release that as a public statement, right? Like, yeah,
I mean, girl,
I know.
you don't have chat. You could have gone to chat. You think, hey, how should I respond to this? I really hate my kid. Say, oh, I'm really, it's a family member. I'm too sad to have Tom.
Right. It's my daughter. I'll miss her forever. Right. Like,
But
just
I
that.
do think one of the things that I remember from that perspective, Clay was in pageants when they were young, and I refused to go back there with them. I would not go back there with them. We were not going to do different hairstyles every 5 seconds. That child, 5 or 6 years old, came up with a different, and now they had ringlet hair, and it used to take hours
Beautiful.
to get them set up with the hair.
Beautiful
It would
hair.
take hours. We would start at 6 o'clock. They would be in bed by 8:30 with these, and they would be like, and then
Don't move. Don't you move while you're sleeping.
Like, thank you for doing my hair, mommy. Like, really, like, and that child came out ringlets, beautiful. For the
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Next scene, sportswear, side pony. I said, what are you doing? Next scene, half up, half down. They were like, well, everybody's mom was back there. So I was like, no, I don't need my mom. I just did my own hair. I was like, good for you. And I mean, we didn't do those and saw lots of people that would participate. But guess what? Guess what? They can command a stage all by themselves. They can take the subway all by themselves. They can do all those things. It does have a lasting impact on where you go for just.
It is hard though. When when your child is that young, it's hard to not, as a parent, be involved in those things. But I will tell you, one of the hardest things for me, genuinely, is this my dream or is this my kid's dream? Now, I will tell you straight up, full transparency, Frank was great at baseball. So good. Righty, lefty. For those of you who are baseball followers, he pitched both hands, field both hands, bat both hands, really? Naturally. He's great. And didn't have to like warm up. He'd play first base left-handed. They'd do some rotation. He'd go to shortstop right-handed, just switch gloves real quick and run out to the base. Like, naturally could do all this. So, of course, the baseball person I am, I'm like, he's going to the major leagues. Like, this is what's happening. This will be his future. And I will be the dad crying in the stands. I already see the ESPN Sports Center, videos. And Kathy was, take a breath. He's 6. So we're going to see how this goes.
There's lots of time.
And I would say to her, you have to keep doing that to me. If what I'm saying starts to be that I'm telling rather than encouraging, I don't know that I'm always going to know the difference. And so I need you to tell me when I'm sliding from encouragement to telling.
I should say that. I should do that. Right? You do that to me.
Sometimes. First of all, someone's got to tell you things. Someone has to tell you things. And you're not my child. I don't mind telling you how to live your life.
No, I mean,
but as a parent, that's tough because to exactly your point, I want them to be independent. But how do I encourage and guide? Tough.
Clay told me after literally when they made the decision, because first of all, they were in Bushwick and not in Brooklyn, which is like the hot up and coming for young people.
Yeah.
They lived in Bushwick and a brand new apartment with a rooftop, like whatever, that I chose because I felt it was like as safe as you're going to be in Bushwick. Right.
Yes. All relative.
It was like $3,000 a month. I know. But their first job, they worked at Amazon. They got a sign-on bonus. They got relocation. And then they were making over $100,000. First job out of college. And they had to be there for a year or they had to refund something. I think they were there for like a year and 5 minutes. And then literally sat me down and said, Mom, I found, and they were like, they needed like cosign and deposit, all the stuff. They said, I went to college. I graduated in 3 years. I have a degree in math. I got my first corporate job. I made over $100,000. You can tell all your friends that I did it. And now I'm quitting I'm moving to Bay Ridge. I found a place for $1,300 a month, and I've saved enough so that I can model full time. And that's what they did.
And that was actually a great move because Clay should be modeling.
Yes.
And I'm just going to keep
And
saying
yeah,
that.
now they're
100%.
DJing. They have a band. They're about to, they're making these choices, but it's hard.
It is hard.
You want them to be successful. You want them to follow their dreams, but you also don't want them to stay at home.
You don't. And, it's fascinating because, again, coming back to Hayden's mom and all, but for those of you who are unfamiliar, Hayden Pantieri, she passed away this week, 36 years old. You would have seen her on a bunch of different things. Yes. Probably most people know her from Heroes and from Nashville, those shows, if you watch those. But she was in like the third Bring It On. And but I will tell you, she started on soap operas, coming all the way back to soap operas. She started, I think, I know she was on Guiding Light. Maybe One Life to Live was the other one. I don't remember, but Guiding Light was one as a little kid. And so you have to be parentally involved when you have a 5-year-old playing the kid of, somebody on a soap opera. The parents have to be involved. Legally, they have to be involved. Totally makes sense. How do you have a parent who is pushing for this acting career that my kid loves doing? And that may be true. How do I push? How do I encourage? How do I help them to see the other side of it and say, honey, do you want to keep doing this? It's okay if you don't want to. It's okay if you don't. But once you start having success, I think it's real hard for a parent to say,
pull back.
Right.
I mean, even this was hard. It was hard for Clay to pull back because we knew, it's not a regular paycheck. And to be able to do that, it's like whether you get the gigs, but I'm gonna tell one on Jeremy, who should be here as like my
Jeremy might be here. Jeremy can be shady sometimes. Jeremy, if you're here, you better chat in. But go ahead.
But his oldest used to do things on Broadway, was on Barney, and
so were Demi and Selena. So I'm just going to make sure.
His wife used to go. They would be in an Airbnb and live in a place for a season while they were in a show. Traveled really hard, and they were like, I think I want to be a nurse, and felt guilty because they thought they should be in musical theater because that's what they've invested in their whole life, and thought that they were going to be mad. They were like, we don't want you to be in it if you don't want to.
Right.
His son was a dancer, danced all the way at Dallas Cowboys, did all of that, and then one day was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I mean, Kieran's daughter played basketball. Kieran is a huge basketball fan, huge basketball coach. And then 2 years ago, her middle daughter said, I'm quitting basketball and I'm playing volleyball. I mean, it can't be your dream because you will force them in, and they will look for ways to escape, to deal with the stress of disappointing.
And that's what seems like happened right with this case we're talking about with Hayden. But I'm listen, for all the parents out there, especially for those of you who have youngins at the house right now, you know what we're talking about. It's tough to want to balance that encouragement and that telling. From a parental standpoint, as far as careers are concerned, we've had to sit with our kids and kind of walk through what they're thinking right for themselves. And there were moments where I know for me, I was like, I want to tell them to make a different choice. I want to tell them that save yourself the headache. Don't do that. Go do this. But there's something valuable in walking through that yourself and what you'll learn from it that you'll take with you. And I remember Frank deciding to change his major going into his junior year. And it was really hard for him to tell us that he wanted to change his major. We didn't care. We're like, well, this is a job you're going to have to do for your life. Like, well, not our lives. You do something you want to do. But he just, because we also have on the other side of it, right? Kids who don't want to disappoint.
That's right.
And so that's real for a lot of kids as well. So they might lean into the direction of the parent because they don't want to disappoint their parent.
I think I told Chloe, I was like, I am so sorry that I conveyed a message that you understood and meant that you had to do these things.
Yes.
I just wanted your success. That's not what I meant. Like I didn't, and I remember my father when I quit college and I was like, I cannot do this.
Right.
And he said, I don't want to pay if you don't want to go. Because my grades were like not great. And then, but then flash over to Todd. Both of us have different flavors of ADHD. And the thing that I found, I just figured this out. We were playing basketball because, I'm healed and everything. So we played basketball.
Whoop, whoop.
And his dad or his son was asking, TJ was like, what, tell me, did you ever play basketball or all these things? And he was like, no, he didn't. He was really good at wrestling. He was really good at baseball, but he never had the grade. So he wasn't allowed to wrestle and only could do a certain amount. And they were like, what if he was supposed to be a wrestler though? Right?
Yeah, right.
We have students that weren't able to perform in the Christmas play because they didn't pass math. But what if they were supposed to be a concert violinist? Or what if they were supposed to be like, and also, why are we asking people to make these choices for the rest of their life?
And part of it is because we make them start so early now. Like when I was a kid, I played Little League baseball. I did. But it didn't feel like it was, if you don't do this, you will never get ahead in baseball. Like it was just, we played baseball. Now it's like, some of the communities, and I know there's people listening who are like, that's our community. If you don't get that kid in at 5 years old to start doing that kid is like blacklisted. They're never going to be on the travel team at 11. They're never going. You got to start at 5, and you're like, I have to make a life decision now.
That's right. Listen, I almost took this lady out. She's yelling at my son, who is the coach of the soccer team for 8-year-olds. I was like, you talk about my son one more time. Put him in, coach, you freaking. And I couldn't believe it. Yelling. Yes. And the little girl, she doesn't know how to tie her shoes. And you're worried about her. Like, get it. I couldn't believe her. She was enraged.
And that's when it's too much. This is too much for you.
What happened to you, lady?
Yes. First of all, lady, this is where Baldino comes right in. That's okay, right. Lady, you got all the answers. Let's put cleats on you and get you out there. By the way, we'll have the defibrillator nearby if you need it, because you're going to pass out trying to run up and down that field all this time. Like, everybody's got a lot of comments wheezing the whole time.
And I was like, the thing that's so amazing, though, that that is great, looking at my son with those kids, I leaned over to Todd and I said, see, he was listening. Even though, because like TJ,
he's a treasure. Come on.
He's rough. I'm telling you, his girlfriend's
he's
mom
a
is
treasure.
Like, we're not worried about TJ. We'll know he'll be successful. I'm like, I'm so glad you said that, because
come on. Are you out of your mind? That child, blessed.
I'm a little bit
blessed.
He is blessed. They are blessed. But what is interesting is the way we parent various ways. And one of the things that, and now I feel bad about it, Todd gets really mad about TJ's room. I'm like, I don't really get unless it's getting into my
Todd.
space.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't
want to mad, but I'm like, something is moving on the floor.
That part. Well, and I told him, but here's the thing. I told him, I was like, well, you know what I did when they were young, when they were little? He was like, what? And I said, I used to tell them, you've got 5 minutes. Everything that's on the floor, stuffed in a drawer or stuffed in a closet is mine.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I would get trash bags and
I
be
said,
like,
yeah,
I'm
that's
done.
my
I'm done
full
with
time.
that.
I was like, let's go in his room, pick up everything on the floor, say, I thought you thought it was trash, and take it away. He was like, right now. I'm like,
Yes.
But I mean,
I just feel badly because now I don't have great answers to this. And I will tell you, it's really fascinating to me because our children are in their 20s.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of those that are raising preteens. Give me like 10 to 12-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
So you talk about 10 years, 10, 12 years difference for us with kids that are that age. It's evolved so much even in that time. Like, what does it mean for a 10 and 12-year-old right now? How do they look at their futures? Pepper AI into a bunch of stuff right now. And then you have parents that are like, you need to, let's. And I think sometimes in our efforts, I mean, I know there are parents already who are struggling with AI in a couple of ways. One, just ask AI to write your paper. For
by
sure.
the way,
For sure.
this is interesting. So TJ just finished one of his degrees. Instead of doing a proctor, everybody had to be on camera writing their papers.
Like handwriting their paper. Yeah. First of all, who could decipher that penmanship?
Right.
They didn't
I was
teach
like,
cursive.
You gotta take a picture of it and put it in AI and grade it. But anyway, but I mean, the other part of it is, though, I don't know. It's hard for me to know the balance. I was a kid who, my day, I had cheer practice starting at 6 a.m. and I would go through the day, starting like my sophomore year, and then I would.
By the way, though, let's be clear about that, though. You had cheer practice at 6 a.m. There wasn't another person on that team. That's what you decided to do. Your own.
No, they decided, them little girls, and you know which ones I'm talking about.
I know which ones.
That we were going to meet at 6 because they needed from 8:30 to 10 to get ready for class. So in order to do that, we had to be there at 6:30 for cheer practice and spent the whole period getting ready. These little girls. Who are you getting ready for?
Right. I can't sleep because you have to get ready. Okay.
And I am not a morning person. But now they restrict some of these things. And so it's a difficult balance. And it is different when it's like you're not just responsible for a notebook and whatever. You're responsible for a whole laptop or a tablet, and you have to pay for it if it doesn't show up. And they.
Yeah. Listen, if you're going to be this parent, this is the thing. And somebody was asking or mentioning this before. Good morning, by the way, Mandy, Talia, Mark, Aaron, all kinds of people. Sorry. We've been we're so in the zone. If you're going to encourage your children to participate in something, if you're going to push, the thing you got to push is yourself.
That's right.
Because you are now also signing up for some layers of responsibility. Now, I'm not pretending that I know all the story. So please don't at me. I'm not pretending that I know it all. But when you read a story like Hayden's story that we talked about, like many other child actors who have, had a career in Hollywood, and if there's been difficulty, I mean, look at Amanda Bynes and some other folks, like really like awful type things, Bieber, like all these folks that have just really kind of broken as a result of going through it. How many times did they say, I was taken advantage of by somebody, and I'm sexually, certainly, but drugs, all kinds of things where someone was in the room with them and the parent was not.
That's right.
And that's where I say, I'm not saying it's easy, but if you're pushing your kid to be the next, actor extraordinaire, you are making a commitment to be there. I mean, that's the one I got to say about T Swift. Like, her mom went everywhere with her. Her mom quit her job and was like, if this is what we're going to try to do, I'm going with you everywhere. Now, I'm not saying she's the
What's
best parent
difficult,
ever, but that's what you got to do.
But when you do that and you're dependent on this child's income,
I know.
With the job. But I tell you what, like, here's
You're
what
right.
it's like, that's the hard part. Clay started modeling, they were 8 months old. 8 months old.
Clearly, Clay asked to be a model at 8 months, just so in case there's questions from anybody.
World of Kids modeling. I met them at the mall. Not kidding.
That I know. I know that.
So I went, and they're like, they asked Clay to start modeling, and I was like, oh yeah, they can stand up. Look, in every picture, they look like it's like you do with the dog with Milo, where you're like, okay, oh yeah. So, but here's what I started doing, because the first time I took them, it was their first gig, and I didn't know what it was like. You walk in, there's naked people on the right getting dressed. You're like, there's a million people on set, and they have these wranglers, and they would say, let me have your kid. And you're like, the first time I didn't know what to do. Second time and Clay could talk before they could communicate, to be fair, talking.
Shocking.
But then when I don't know how. But then and they can sing all of NSYNC songs too, by the time 3-year-old. But then
that child was raised right.
That's right. I would take her and say, every time we got on set, and I was like, I need you to scream as loud as you can. And they would scream as loud as they can. I was like, now listen. Because I had TJ. Eventually I had TJ. TJ was 2. And I was like, if anything happens to you, I'm giving you permission to scream for me. And I need to be able to make sure I can hear you. So I need you to practice. And it would be full on set in the middle of a set. And I was like, now scream. Because I needed them to not be embarrassed when they were nervous.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, you hear that screaming kid? That's my kid. I would go to the wrangler. Okay, go ahead. Do what you got to do. That screaming kid's my kid. Because you have to set the warning for everyone.
You do.
I mean,
that's such a good idea. That's a good idea.
I mean, they never scream. I would get close, but at that age when they were little infant, you can't.
I know. And there are times where I've talked to people where, again, in that industry, where they're like, oh, well, you can't come here. Why can't I just stand right here behind the camera while you're doing that? What do you mean I can't come into the room
at all?
I'm coming into the room. First of all, that lady over there, that guy over there, the intern who's getting you coffee, that person's standing there. I'll stand with the intern. I'm good to stand right there.
You're not. It's a closed set. And you don't know. But the thing is, 2 things I think happened as a result of that was like, one of the things they learned to like how these things are on set, and also understood that they are the talent. That's really difficult to understand at work. It's something we don't teach when you have that kind of talent. When somebody is like an actor or in a performing, they know that they are the talent and they are expected to act a certain way. But then when you go to work, oh, I have to do this thing. And I don't know, like, people make compromises for themselves and they are too afraid to advocate for themselves, and their parents haven't taught them. And so let me show you how you do this.
Yes.
And you're calling it, my mom's calling, because I'm going to be late, or I used to be really nervous. I used to make Todd call for me all the time.
I've had people call and say, hi, John. It's so-and-so, and I'm selecting my benefit coverage. I'm a new employee. I'm selecting my benefit coverage. I'm not really good with this. It's the first time I'm selecting. Is it okay for the benefits meeting that's online? Could my mom listen in as well? Because I want her to help me with what I'm picking for the benefits that I need.
Well,
and I will say things like
that's.
I'm great with that. Yes. And listen, and also there are times where I'm like, is your mom like going to be there with you? yeah, then your mom doesn't need to dial in. Just have your mom sit right with you. And I'm totally fine with that. Like, I can appreciate if you're telling me you want your mom there because, I'm 22 years old. This is the first time I'm ever selecting benefits. I don't really know what I'm doing. Listen, y'all, nobody comes out of the womb understanding out of pocket and max deductible and all that. I get that. So if somebody's been through it, that part, I think I want to make sure people are clear. Like, parents are still a resource. It's if you're using them in a way that's sort of defensive for you, that's probably not smart for your career. Right. But I would also say if you're the parent, you've got to cut those strings a little bit and let your child try some things. Frank is, I think I told you, Frank is 11 days, I'm checking, yes, 11 days away from settling on his first home that he is purchasing. And I know. And Kath and I have been like, just let us know if you questions or you need anything or want to pick our brain or anything. You let us know. We don't want to like micromanage anything. And he's been great. He's like, yeah. And then he will say, well, what do you think about? Here's a couple of homeowners insurance quotes that I've gotten. Can we sit together and could you go through these with me and what I'm like? Sure. I didn't need to push and be like, you better send me every one of those homeowners quotes. And I want to see the mortgage documents. And I want you have to be able to have a sense of separation. And I know it's hard because I know like some parents are like, they're white knuckled. They're holding on to everything with their kid. That's a lot of pressure on the kid too. Like I don't want Frank, especially Frank can feel the pressure and not want to disappoint. And it's like, no, go. It's okay. Let us know if you need something. Yeah, this kid's
I'm about to start crying because it just hit me all of a sudden. And I laugh at my mom because when I was 21, I moved to Arizona with my best friend, Sarah, and I didn't know anybody in Arizona. And I like went home and told my mom like I was going to move to Arizona with Sarah, who was like 19. I was 20. She was 19. So, I mean,
yeah.
I lived in
Dallas.
Right. It was gonna be like it was like an 18-hour drive. In our first cars, I think she had a Honda Civic, and I had like a Hyundai. I'm sure two head gaskets were already blown.
Oh yeah.
We were driving to Arizona. We had a moving truck, and I moved back home eventually. And I was like, why would you do that? I still have questions as you hit those landmarks with your own kids. I was like, are you kidding me?
Why would you? Yeah.
But when I asked my mom, she said, I gave you everything I had.
That's right.
I had to trust that. I had to trust you were whatever you needed at this point, you weren't going to get from me. I gave you everything I had.
That's so interesting, right? Because I think generationally there's a difference. So again, for everybody who's listening, like I'm from Philadelphia originally, very tight knit. The units are very tight knit, meaning they're in each other's lives all the time. I mean, they're with each other all the time. And that obviously began to change through the generations because people moved away, because people moved to the suburbs. It wasn't like it was where we would just, you could even walk to somebody's house and have Sunday dinner and there's 58 people in this tiny room and all this stuff. That's really changed. So, and my parents are a great example of this with my kids, when my mom or dad would ask a question and I was like, I'm not really sure, what Frank's doing for this or Olivia for this or Cass for this. Well, what do you mean you don't know? Well, Olivia lives in Boston. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not walking around with her everywhere she's going. I don't know if she bought the thing or and it's so, because it's like, well, we should know everything that's going on in everybody's life. And I will tell you, it's hard for me at times. Like there are moments where I'm like, I could be that parent who's like way over involved. I'm not, but I could be. And that let me tell you, my wife is a saint, beat me into submission, saint. And so that's hard. So if you have generational history, like this is what my parents did for me, to me, that's what I know. I'm now going to do that to that next generation. you're going to hit an issue. You may have a kid who's like, you don't need to be in my life. Nobody else's parents are in their life the way that you want to be. Why are you like this? Then it becomes tension.
Is like that with everything. I would watch it and I'll be like, don't drink that. That's bleach. And he'll be like, I'm fine. Like he doesn't. He thinks like I don't know. He thinks I'm an idiot. And then I have Clay. Literally, here's a funny example, and I think it has to do with age. Me and my sister are 10 years apart. My mom always says that when I was 3 years old, I was in a bad mood and just never snapped out of it. That's what she used to say. What I did to her, she was in a bad mood, and she's been in a bad mood ever since. But we were the like room parents. Me and Todd were always room parents, and then
Kathy too. Kathy always was a room parent. Yep.
We did Annie. We helped with the production of Annie.
So let's be clear. Now you just hold on a second. Let's be very clear about the production of Annie.
I love it.
That had nothing to do with the child.
Like,
you would have been involved if you had no children.
No children.
You would have been like, I'll do it.
I'll do it right now with the dog. I'll do it right now.
Right now.
Yeah. Sometimes I walk around the house and I'm like, dumb dog, why are you following me? Remember that?
You all think I'm kidding.
Literally
Jackye is the one who's like trying to get into the main office of a school to be like, hi, what's the production you're doing this year? Do you have children here? I don't have children here. I'm sorry. Could you answer my question? What's the production you're doing this year? Oh, Frozen Junior? No problem. I'll be involved.
Front row.
Right? Let it go.
Project. But I think it is interesting. My dad was the dad when you would say, I'd be like, Dad, I want to play basketball. He'd be like, okay, get in the car. And we'd drive to Foot Locker and get the shoes and get the ball. And would have elbow guards and like a headband and like, just like head to toe. And then I would be like, I don't think I want to play. And he would snatch it back just as much. He'd be like, okay, rip. He would like rip the basketball thing out the wall. He would take it all back. And you were never allowed to go back. That was the meanest, cruelest.
Oh, so once you made the choice.
You would
I wanted to be with your dad. When he tried to take that basketball hoop back with the sheetrock pieces on the back of it, and they're like, did you use this? No.
And I would be impressed. It was.
Do you have the original box? No.
Dad would be like, do you want to go to the movies? And I knew if I say no, like, I'm not going to see my boyfriend. He's going to sneak out of the house. Or my dad will never take me to a movie again.
Okay, to be clear, you were a problem child, and I want to make sure people understand that.
I'm the best kind of problem child. That's like straight A's and in the top of everything and bad attitude and,
First of all, y'all, straight F's. She just would write that line to connect them to make it look like A all the way down.
Yeah, because we used to use those fine point tips.
Plus.
By the way, you see Life Styled by Sam? That's Cairo's mom. It says hello to my That's Cairo.
Welcome. We're glad you're here. Again, we've only got a couple minutes left, but I want to, because I don't want it to all be, not that it's been negative, but I think we should give a couple of like good ideas to parents. Like what should parents do, especially not that we were like the best examples ever, but we're beyond it now. Like there's some lessons we've learned too. I want to one thing I'll shout out is if you're a parent and your kid has to put together like their first job application or a resume for something, I think it's great. That's a great opportunity to sit with your kid and say, do you need any help with this? I've had to write a resume. I've had to fill out tons of job applications. Do you have this, or could I be helpful at all? You will be surprised how many times a kid will say, yeah, actually, can I ask you some questions, or how should I answer this? Or, God forbid, what's my social security number? You're like, Lord. But I think that's a great ask, right? It doesn't force you into it, but you could certainly offer your experience.
I think it's important to start young of doing various things, especially growing up, like as soon as you were in high school and as you progressed, you had more responsibilities where it's like, okay, you're going to cook dinner on Thursdays, or giving people money and giving them a chance to build a budget to make places. So like, I'm sorry, but just, I don't know why. I'm like, do I hold my hand? I guess I do. But I think it's important to do those. And when you think about it, pull them around, and Sam can tell you, I'll be like, listen, you ever hear of prolapse? Let me tell you, like, we will. And I think a lot of Gen Xers, because we had to find out
we did.
We'd be like, how do you make a chicken? Like, we were 10 years old. Like, how do you sew? Like, I have to iron my shirt for the concert, and all these things.
Yes.
We depend on each other and ask. And then if we learn something, would share what we learned with other people, because you might have it and it was really hard for me. So like, take the time to say, and that, I don't think that learning ever stops. Like, let me teach you how to make Thanksgiving dinner, or did I ever show you, how to, just various things along the way, because it's things that they're not going to get right away.
And they have to mess up with some things. Like, they're going to need to burn a chicken once. They're going to have to, like, stuff has got to happen so that they then learn from it.
They were like, what do I do?
Let me tell you, that's a whole thing. At Humoriso, it's a whole thing. When a 20-something comes to work at Humoriso, what corner does the stamp go on when they have to return something to unemployment office? What corner does the stamp go on? It's true. The other thing that I think is interesting, and I've done this with my kids, where there is a situation at work going on, something's happening, and they're stressed about it, or it could be a manager, it could be a coworker, whatever. Just ask what's going on. Let them share, and it's hard. You don't want to solve the problem for them, but you want to solve the problem for them. I know, right? But you just got to listen. And I just, like we would do with employees that we're trying to get to think critically, just ask good critical thinking questions. What do you think you'd like to do as a result of that? What do you think you'd like to see happen as a result of what you just described, right? Like, and have your kid be able to say, I think I want to go in tomorrow and ask if I could talk to them for about 10 minutes. And you want to say, that sounds like a great idea. Yeah, why don't you do that? It's their idea. I didn't have to say, maybe that's the exact thing I would say. Let them have a chance to sort of show you that they can think critically. You have taught them some things.
But I mean, and you have to, it's your kid. Right? You have to meet your kid where they are. My kid, Clay, would be playing basketball and complaining about the referee to me on the court.
I mean, don't hide your bias or anything, Clay.
I'd be like,
this one right here.
We can all hear you.
It's not your inside voice. We hear you.
TJ will be like, he told me in 6th grade, he was like, I speak teacher. Like, I don't need you. I'm failing this class, but don't worry. Got it.
Got it. And I'm sure TJ did have it. That's why TJ politics.
That's why that's why they're like, he's gonna be fine no matter what he did. I know he should. No, he's gonna be a teacher. That's what he said.
Listen, this whole parental push thing, it's got to be a very, very careful balance, because again, terrible stories we see are typically Hollywood. But we've got a lot of stuff happening where parents are behind the scenes with our employees and pushing about things in 20s, even 30s, where their parents are still like, you need to go in there and demand a raise. You need to go in there and do this. You need to go. And you're like, they're getting this pressure from home. Just keep that in mind. Take a breath. Everybody just relax.
And have a conversation. Also mentor employees. Hopefully, if you can't point them in a direction, I know somebody about your age that maybe you should tune into. And I think COVID did a lot of stunting in growth for everyone in the stage.
For everyone. Yes.
And so, point some people together of different resources. With ChatGPT, I think it is a good use of AI to use it in those situations of getting an opinion. And
that's fair.
It's not real, but
No, it's fair. It's coming from some resource places. And listen, the footnotes are there. You can go and read the rest of it yourself. Get the full
You're not
context.
alone.
You're not what?
You're not alone. There's lots of resources and there's people out there, but learn the lessons, right? I can't believe it's already 10. Okay.
I know. It's time.
Oh.
Y'all, thanks so much for your comments. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it so much. Thanks.
Right. Clink,
See you
clink,
next
clink.
time. Clink.
Bye.
Bye.